So I have been in industry for 25 years. I started right out of school with science background, did my due diligence in the lab, and then I moved into, I guess, a process role about 15 years ago. And then from then and I had a lot of training background at that point as well. So it was a really natural fit for me to move into our first sales enablement role in my last organization. That grew exponentially, as you can imagine, in probably 12 to 2020 range. We went from one person to, I think, 15. So really, a lot of growth. But it was a very high value added. And then I went to my new organization and started sales enablement there. So much growth and enablement. I've been fortunate. I've been part of it a lot. I worked with sales teams for over a decade, so I'm really comfortable. I start to understand what they're looking for. I guess maybe their psyche a little bit. I think, working with a lot of the commercial teams, I spend a lot of time working with sales, marketing, product management, product marketing, and as well as our leadership and operational teams. So our training strategy has to be something that our teams can and are able to easily do. It has to be part of their work. It can't be something that takes them away or distracts them. It has to really align with what they're already doing. And the same for coaching, right? It has to make it, for my sales leaders in particular, it has to be easy for them to coach their team. It has to have a meaningful impact, right? They have to be able to see and feel the impact that their efforts are making with their team. So I think that for both of those, that's what's really important. It has to be part of what they're already doing. And then they have to see the value. I can't explain the value to them. They have to understand and believe it on their own. So we brought Highspot into our organization at the very beginning of our enablement function. So it's been with us for as long as enablement has, in reality. Our sales, marketing, all of our commercial teams see Highspot as kind of the center of our enablement function right now. We use it for everything, and we're only expanding and using it more and more. So super excited about everything I heard upstairs, because we're really looking forward to implementing more, and the teams want more. So really, it's part of the entire strategy for our organization, because again, it's part of what they're already doing. I'm not asking them to go somewhere else. They're already in Salesforce.com. They're already, online. Keeping them from having to go to too many different places, I think, makes it more effective. So every single one of our launches is developed, and that there's a whole launch process, right? And Highspot's part of that. So again, we're evolving, but I would say in the last year, everybody now sees Highspot. All of our teams recognize the value that it brings, and they all want to be a part of it now. So marketing, product management, R&D, they all come to the table, and we have a conversation right at the beginning of our launch development, right? How do we pull everything in? What is the appropriate process for us to make this really effective with sales? So Highspot is part of the process immediately. Everything from before we launch something, our pre-launch preparations, we are putting pre-training into Highspot, measuring completion. And then we actually do our launch plans. That's globalized in Highspot. So unfortunately, in a global organization, everybody doesn't get to hear the live training opportunities, but we make sure that that's all available as part of it. And then afterwards, subsequently, we have all of our, usage and analytics come out of that. And we're starting, that's a early process for us. We're not quite evolved in that yet. We're going to get better. But everything goes through Highspot right now for all of our launches. So one thing I've learned working with sales is that our sales reps have to trust whatever we're giving them. They want to look competent. They want to look like they know what they're talking about. They want to look resourceful in front of their clients. And so they have to trust it. So one thing that is really important is that everything is in Highspot. That's their single source of truth. Everything that marketing does should go through Highspot. So that is the one place that they can go and they can trust that what I get out of Highspot is going to be what the client needs. It's going to be what I'm looking for at that time. It's going to be up to date. They have everything they need in one spot. So that's huge. They trust it. The other element of that, again, is that they're in it all the time. So they have to go to a different place, or they can go straight out of Salesforce. There's a lot of functionality that keeps them from having to go to different places to find different things, which I think is huge. So 2 initiatives we have going on right now. One, we've just had an acquisition this year. So again, in planning for the acquisition before it ever even happened, we were planning, how do we create trust with the new team that's coming in and provide resources that are up to date and helpful and easy for them to use. And Highspot was the answer with a lot of that with our sales team. So integrating a brand new acquired sales team into our organization, we wanted everything to be as easy for them to use as possible, easy for them to train on. And the long story short, they loved it. They're in there all the time. We get amazing feedback from them. They haven't seen the evolution of it, so they just seen it at this point in its time, and they love it. So that one's been going really well. Our other strategic and I guess initiative at this point is we have our distributor network. And so it's kind of its own sales team, right? And we just created a whole area of our Highspot for our distributors. That was just a few weeks ago. They love it. They're already using it. Having, again, everything in one place. We like not having to replicate content for them, but still kind of monitor their usage and seeing how they're using our content. I think that's really helpful for us, but they have found it immensely valuable and they use it all the time. Amazing feedback from them right away. So analytics is our next step in our evolution. That we're not quite there yet with analytics. I will say that the single most impactful data point of anything I could imagine is that 100% of our reps really find value in Highspot. So they use it. I haven't had a single rep push back. And in fact, when I show them more functionalities, they just want to use it more. So that in and of itself, we have done internal surveys, and the appreciation and value recognition within our organization of Highspot is absolutely, it's 100%. So that helps a lot with their usage. They trust it. They go to it as a first point of reference whenever they have a question. I think that's only going to get better with all of the AI and all of the new things they're going to be able to get out of it. So 2 things. One is when I first went to the organization and started working with Highspot, before we signed up, Highspot used Highspot as part of their sales process, which I thought was immensely impactful, right? You're showing me your tool and making it a value add for me. That was what I've never had another another organization sell me something and use their tool as the tool, which is very impactful. So I guess just maybe feedback, that was an amazing approach. Definitely impactful. And actually, some of our leaders still talk about it. The fact that Highspot used Highspot to sell Highspot was pretty impressive. The other thing is the support, the level of support that I've received. We've had 2 service partners through Highspot. We don't have enough time for me to tell you how amazing they've been. They have been there, with our implementation partner was amazing. She really walked us through because we needed help. We needed a handhold the whole way through. And now our service partner is absolutely amazing. She's there with answers. She's there proactively. She gives you she teaches you how to find the answer, but also supplements it with insights, best practices, and things that aren't necessarily all available in Highspot University or Highspot user community.